Hi guys, I get a lot of questions about my bike packing setup, and I want to spend time in this video explaining in detail my knowledge, my understanding of how to set up your bike to go bike packing. So the first things you need to think about, all three of them are going to play a massive role in how much you take, what you take, and how you set up the bags on your bike. In addition to that, you need to think about, you want to make sure that it's as aero as possible. This is going to allow you to travel further without more power in the legs, without having to work harder, and it's going to allow you to feel more secure on the bike and just enjoy the ride more. Really important, and another thing that people don't take too seriously. How you distribute the weight on your bike plays a massive role in your ability to control the bike, in the speed that you can go at. You're descending, you're climbing, okay? It can be a lot safer, it can be a lot easier if you've got a good weight distribution. And of course, if you need to pick up your bike at any point and have to get it over obstacles, if there's an evenly distribution, it's going to make it a lot easier to be able to carry your bike.
All right, there's only one way through it.
So my rule of thumb is always around 60% on the rear, 40% on the front, and then any heavy items, they'll go in the middle and ideally as low as possible for more center of gravity.
So this is my 4-bag basic setup, and this is ideal if I'm doing 1 or 2 weeks, if I'm going off into the mountains, if I'm going to be doing some climbing. It's not too heavy, so it's between about 15 to 18 kilos in total, and that includes all my camping gear, it includes all my cooking gear, it includes a couple of cameras, a drone, enough clothing to keep me warm no matter the weather, but it's perfect for riding on gravel tracks and single tracks, and yeah, I love it. So this is my max setup, and this is for when I'm going on a 1 month or 2 month or even longer bikepacking trip. It weighs around 25 to 28 kilos. It can carry up to 5 days worth of food and around 5 to 6 litres of water if required. Of course, I've got all my camping and cooking gear in there, and then extra clothing because of the variation in climate and weather. And yes, I'm going to talk all about the bags and give them a full review. That's coming up a bit later on, but you've got the dividers at the bottom if you want to skip to that point.
So these are my personal 5 tips when thinking about buying gear, when thinking about how to set up your bike. I hope these will help you with your decision making. Most people who watch my video are from Northern Europe or North America. We all have climates where we experience rain. I just can't emphasize it enough. It might seem a no-brainer to you. It is so important. It'll give you peace of mind knowing that everything is sealed and protected in your bags. And do your research, check out the companies, check out the material they use, make sure it's of high quality, and read reviews, so you can really make sure that you get quality waterproof bags where you need it. Don't leave your house with your bags completely crammed and having no extra space. You may get to a point on the journey where you need to stock up with more food at a certain point or more water. You may end up having some items stolen at some point and you have to replace them, and they're bigger than your old ones and they don't fit in your bag properly. You always want to make sure that you've got extra capacity if required. Bikepacking is expensive, or bikepacking gear is expensive. There's no question about that. Yes, there are budget ranges out there, but as I've mentioned to you before, you don't want bags falling to pieces halfway through your journey. Nevertheless, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and splash out on all the expensive gear. There are lots of creative ways to use other gear from other sports or other equipment that you're not necessarily for a bikepacking setup, which works just as well for half the price. And I'm going to show you that in my bikepacking setup, so stay tuned. Every bike is different, and what you're going to find is the gear that you order that looks amazing online, some of it might not fit onto your bike properly, or you may have some problems. It's always the case. But don't despair, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect on your bike. And in fact, what you might find is with some cable ties and some black tape, or maybe a little bracket here and there that you can fit in, you're going to have a much better system, and it's going to work so much better. I can't strap this around here because of the saddle bag straps. So what I can do is just improvise. I can just tape these and then put some black tape on here and just tape them down, and that will secure them. Okay, let's begin with the Apidura Expedition range bags that I own. The first thing I can say about these is the quality of the waterproofing is quite simply amazing. It's probably one of the best waterproof bags on the market. The material is really, really good quality. It also makes it very robust and solid built. And they also, as well, they look pretty damn cool. I like the design of them. I think it's a really nice design. The downsides to them, obviously premium prices. I think they're very, very high range when it comes to the price. And they're made in China. They're not made in Europe. A lot of bags now are being made in Europe. So I think they are slightly overpriced. In addition to that, if we look at them individually, the 17-litre saddle bag, the biggest problem is that it rocks from side to side. You'll find that there's been a lot of advancements in designing these sort of bags in the last few years. So I feel this is a little bit outdated. If you look at bags now that have come onto the market, they're really tackling that kind of wagging motion that goes with the saddle bag. So have a look at that, think about that before you purchase. I would give this 4 out of 5 stars in total. I've been pretty happy with it. I can't complain too much. Like I say, it's still in good condition. The full frame bag, my favorite bag on the whole bike. Absolutely amazing. I just love the size of the pockets. I mean, it's only 6 litres this. You can fit so much in it, and if you've got a larger frame, as I mentioned, you'll be able to go all the way up to 14 litres. I mean, God knows what you could fit in 14-litre bag. Everything. An elephant maybe. Yeah, but lots of big pockets here. Absolutely love it. So there's 3 big pockets in total. There's also a divider in it here, so I can take that divider out and make this into one massive pocket if I wanted to. And also there's like a little secret side pocket here, which I put my card in or my keys in and such. The straps on the front are amazing. The straps on the side are what lets it down. I don't know why they did these little fiddly thread through straps on the side. I imagine to cut costs, because the ones on the front here are amazing and they should go all the way around. Overall, I give this 4.5 stars out of 5, and I love it to pieces, and I highly recommend buying one of these frame bags if you've got the money, because they ain't cheap. Okay, the handlebar bag. Well, I have many issues with this, to be honest with you guys. The first one is the buckles are just getting in my way when you're on the drop bars. They're rubbing against my hands. I ended up having to tape one side down just because it was annoying me that much. And I don't need access from both sides. So that's the first issue. The second one is the straps on the back, which are so fiddly that you have to get through these little tiny holes to try and strap it onto your handlebars. Very time consuming. It took me up to like 5 minutes to try and get this on to my bike, and then you get on your bike, you start cycling, and it just drops down onto the wheel and can damage the bag itself. There was a very simple solution to that, and that was just to buy a cheap harness and put that on, and that allowed me to connect the bag to the bike in 30 seconds instead of 5 minutes. The other thing is that these bungee straps here on the front, the minute you add an accessory pack or accessory pocket onto it, they become obsolete because they're covered. So there's none here, as you can see. So I just don't recommend this in any sort of way. I mean, this was 45 euros, this was 98 euros. And there were 20 euros for a cheap harness, all that on the front. There's a British company called Restrap, and their handlebar bag comes with a harness. It comes with bungee straps on the accessory pack or the pocket. Bottom line is, I don't recommend this. It's quite simple. There's much better things on the market. Get one with a harness. I cannot emphasize that enough. It's going to save you 5 minutes every day. The Apidura backcountry range. So I've got the top tube bag here. This is 35 euros and just not worth the money in any sort of way. The newer version, which is 50 euros, I just cannot imagine spending 50 euros on a top tube bag. Like, if you just go onto Amazon, for example, and type in top tube, you're going to find hundreds of top tube bags, which are around 20, 25 euros, that are fully waterproof and do the exact same job. This is a 1 litre and 50 euros for 1 litre. No way. Then we have the pocket bag. Having a bag on top of your handlebar bag, which you can easily access your phone, your card, your keys, whatever it is you want in here, is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I highly recommend having a bag on top of your handlebar bags. But this bag in general is absolutely terrible. I mean, it was 45 euros, it's paper thin, it's not waterproof, it's not really well designed. When my handlebar bag decided to fall onto my wheel, then it just burnt a hole in this and I had to put tape on it. And guess what, guys? They're no longer selling this on their website. And I think there's a good reason for that, because it's rubbish. Whoa-ho, woohoo, whoa-ho, I don't know. Food pouches, amazing. Got these in the sale for about 20 euros each. It's like half the price of the Apidura ones, and they're just really great quality. Waterproof. I love the meshing at the bottom here. So if you put in like a big water bottle that's dripping wet, you're not gonna have water that's gonna like collect at the bottom of here. It's all just gonna drip through. So it keeps it all dry. I mean, love it. And it's got these pockets here, lots of little pockets you can put snack bar, energy bars, and any sort of food and such that you require. So, big win. Sea to Summit bags, dry bags, okay? I've got 8 litres here on the front fork, 20 litres that went on the back. Kind of on the back, I had it around 10 litres, but then I could expand it more if required. So I always had option to increase my load, as I mentioned before. That's really important, increasing your capacity. I think these bags are really good. I mean, they're so sleek, and you get so many different types as well. So, you know, I don't know if you can see this, but you've got many options to buy depending on what size you want. They are super duper waterproof. They're not as waterproof as the Expedition range by Apidura, but they're very close. They're very light, they're very well built, really good build quality on them. They've lasted really well. They have these kind of straps on the side here, or these buckles on the side. I don't know what you call this, but you know what I mean. You can put a strap through it, so you can strap them onto your bike in many different ways. And it's called the lash loops. Lash loops, sorry. So you've got lash loops. Lash loops, I should have known that. You've got lash loops on there as well. And yeah. The Thule, if that's how you pronounce it, Swedish brand, rear rack. I don't really like this. I don't like the design of it. It's quite bulky. The only reason I bought this is because of my Canyon Grail. I don't have any connection points to get a normal rear rack on. And what I found is that this kind of connection points here, which go on the seat stays bars, it's not very good. It kind of slide down a little bit and it started to tilt a little bit, so I had to buy some more brackets for it and put a lot of tape on it just to try and keep it upright. But like I say, you just got to make do with certain things at times. But if you can, get something which is cheaper, lighter and better for your bike. One other thing I'd mention is I always take a camelback with me. I love this camelback, it's amazing. 1.5 litres, and it just gives you extra capacity with water. You don't even notice that you've got it on your shoulders when you're cycling. It's so light. It also, you don't get big sweat marks the way it's designed here. Okay, it keeps you the airflow, keeps your back nice and dry, And what I found so good with this is that if I'm climbing and I've got to have both hands on the handlebars because my bike's heavy, you need to drink while you're climbing. You're sweating like mad, you're working hard, and it was just perfect, guys. It was just perfect. So I highly recommend a Camelback. I think it just gives you so much options, so you don't have to carry so much water on your bike, and it allows you to keep your hands free for other things. For example, the front handlebar bag, you could just buy a cheap harness, and then you could use, for example, Sea to Summit dry bag. This one's an 8 litre, but you can use like a 10 litre one if you wanted to, and does the exact same job. Fully waterproof, easy to attach, it's going to stay on the bike perfectly, aerodynamic, and that in total, guys, is €40 instead of the €98 that I spent just on the bag itself. Another great option is instead of having a saddle bag, you could just buy yourself a rear rack for €20 to €30, and then, for example, a Sea to Summit 20 litre bag could go on there. This is €30. Or maybe you've got a rucksack at home, a completely waterproof rucksack at home, which is around 20-30 litres, and you could just attach that on there. And having a rucksack's going to give you many other options as well if you want to go hiking. So that could save you half the price than buying the expensive bikepacking gear, and in addition to that, you can use this equipment in other sports, other activities. So always be thinking what's possible, be creative, and you will be able to save money, guys. Unlike me, okay? It took me 3 years to figure this out. So guys, that is my full review of my bikepacking setup. What did you think? What did you agree with? What you didn't agree with? If you have your own points, let us know in the comment section. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. And of course, I understand that you're going to want to know what's in them bags and what I need to be able to travel around Norway. So that video is going to come up next. And of course, I'm going to do a review of my bike, the Canyon Grail. I promise you it's coming soon. And also the amazing trip from Bergen to Ålesund. I'm working on that right now. It does take some time, but I'm really looking forward to sharing that adventure with you guys. But until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Ha det bra.